Hello, I'm Jackie. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my book, or at least pick it up and have a look. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my story and my learning with you, and I sincerely hope that this book will inspire you and help you on your property journey. Rent to rent is a great strategy, both for people who are just getting started in property investing and for people who already have experience and want an exponential boost to their cash flow. Rent to rent is a very popular strategy right now, and it's attracting more and more attention in the press. Lots of that attention is negative, based on the results of people who are uneducated and doing it incorrectly. Like any property investment strategy, there are right and wrong ways of doing rent to rent. So well done to you for picking up this book to get educated and learn the right way. I'll start with a little background on who I am and why you should listen to me. Chapter 1. I was born. No, we won't go that far back. I'll skim through the first few years. I'm from the US, and I grew up in a small Midwestern town where our main excitement in the evening was driving the main drag, meaning basically we drove back and forth across town all evening. Not the most exciting and prestigious of beginnings. I made my parents proud by getting good marks in school and deciding on a career as an accountant early on. Off I went to university at 18 and studied accountancy in order to earn money, and literature for fun. Following the path of a good worker brought up in the modern education system, I was able to get a good job with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, one of the largest accounting firms in the world. This was quite an achievement for a small-town girl. A few years gaining experience in the US, and I was ready for a change of scenery. Luckily, I knew someone who knew someone in the London office, and I got myself a 2-year stint in England. Boy, was that eye-opening. I arrived in London at the peak of the credit crunch. The work that my group did disappeared and things got a bit nasty in the office as people ran out of work to do and started getting competitive internally. Typical corporate atmosphere. So after being miserable and spending a lot of time either crying in the bathroom or drinking, I decided to get out of there. A few jobs in the accounting departments at some big companies, and I realized I wasn't a very good employee. The thought of sitting forever at the same desk, doing the same job for the rest of my life depressed me a lot. I got headhunted, switched companies, and then left that company before my probation period ended. It was time to strike out on my own. Jacquie Edwards Accounting Limited was born. This was the next step up from being an employee. I was now a self-employed contractor. This meant I got to choose who I was working with, and when I wanted to stop working to go on an extended holiday, it was much easier. My plan was to work for 6 months and travel for 6 months. Rinse and repeat, living the dream. This was great for the first few years. Getting contracts was easy for me in England because I was a specialist in US accounting, so I was able to work with companies which needed to report to the US. I had a few jobs in the London area, and then I got the opportunity to work with a company in Oxford. I didn't realize it at the time, but my property journey really began while I was living in London, just before I headed off to Oxford. I did my first rent-to-rent on the flat I was living in. I did it incorrectly and broke lots of rules as I was uneducated and just didn't know any better. It started when my friend and I moved into a flat together. It had 3 bedrooms. When I was working, it was just the 2 of us living in the flat, both of our names on the lease, and perfectly above board. When I wasn't working, we got in another roommate, subletting the 3rd bedroom. I suppose this is not too big of a deal as lots of people do that. When my friend decided to move out, I was then the only person on the lease and sublet the other 2 rooms. Sometimes, when I was traveling for a long period, I even sublet my bedroom. So basically, I had an AST with the owner just for me and sublet the bedrooms. A definite no-no since I didn't ask the owner for permission. But I didn't realize this was wrong at the time. And I definitely didn't make a profit as I still covered most of the rent and bills. Lack of education again. Completely the wrong way to do rent-to-rent in all aspects. But like many people who stumble into property, I didn't know any better and didn't realize that with a few tweaks, I could do it properly and make a lot of money doing it.